Hello, everybody. My name is Ahava Lisa Benger, and I am here to teach everyone how to remote view. My method is called Mind Mastering Method, and my background is basically I've been remote viewing since 1995, and teaching it since 1996. I got involved with, it was my ex-husband and I, and we together were very fascinated with, this once classified information from the military and, how to become psychic. So we contacted a man, his name was Sergeant Lynn Buchanan, and he was one of Project Stargate's first remote viewers. So we became friends with him, and we learned from him, and then we started teaching with him. And I've been doing remote viewing ever since. But one of the things that developed in the time that I was doing remote viewing, I had also studied Kabbalah and a lot of spiritual guidances, and I realized, wow, they're very much intertwined. It's like in order for us to open our third eye, we really need to be in touch with ourselves. And that's what Kabbalah was teaching, but it also, there is a science to Kabbalah. I was very fascinated with that part of it because it almost was like quantum physics. And I started putting together just this whole method of mind mastering method, because I felt like the most important thing in learning how to remote view was to master your mind and how to work with your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. So I want to read to you what this says here, because this is probably one of the most important things. Remote viewing connects us to seeing that the universe is a much bigger picture than the third dimensional reality that we have been conditioned to stay in. When seeing a bigger picture, it opens us to wondering, what else can we do? Remote viewing shows us how to differentiate between our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. Consciousness observed from the conscious mind is limited. Consciousness observed from the subconscious mind is timeless. Remote viewing demonstrates that our awareness shapes our reality. Remote viewing makes clear how to empty our mental clutter and reclaim our psychic square footage. So basically what this is saying is that we need to empty something first in order to get to our subconscious mind. Because most of the time we are so focused on our consciousness. We're like in what they call it, the beta, alpha, what is it? Theta, delta, gamma. Okay, so most of us bounce from alpha to beta, alpha to beta, alpha to beta, alpha, beta. You ever shop there? Okay. Anyways, so when we are remote viewing, it's not like we're in a trance or you're like off in another meditation. You can be. You can get there, but most of the time you're very aware of what is going on. You're more in an alpha state, and because you're calm and you're able to relax into it and move through the session. But what jumps us back into beta is our conscious mind, the monkey mind, the thoughts that want to keep us like basically on this side okay, when we want to get over to this side. So how many people, like when you're trying to go to sleep and you have your monkey mind go, raise your hands. Yeah, okay. Or like when you're trying to, listen to somebody like talk on stage about remote viewing and your thoughts are running through your head going, you know what, did I go to the bathroom? Did I bring my water? Did I forget to feed the cat or the dog? You know what I mean? Like we have our monkey mind going all the time. But in order to do remote viewing, we need to not let it go, because letting it go is not the idea here, okay? Because everything that comes into our conscious mind is important for us to acknowledge. So we want to be able to write that down. That's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to show you how to divide your mind basically in half, to conscious mind to subconscious mind. And let me see a show of hands. How many people even know what remote viewing is? Okay, so there's a few people that don't know what it is. Okay, so remote viewing is remotely seeing something, okay? It doesn't mean that you're gonna like see it crystal clear, because usually it's very subtle. Our subconscious mind speaks to us in adjectives, okay? It doesn't identify with nouns. It doesn't identify, period. So, because nouns are what man gave it, okay? But our subconscious mind is what, it's a natural thing. We just see it in, like it's just pretty pictures or sounds or, stuff like that. Hang on one second. Okay, so I want to tell you guys a little story. It's about what's in your mind, okay? So imagine your mind is like a library. And inside the library is a bunch of file cabinets. And in those file cabinets are everything you've seen with your five senses. Everything you've seen, touched, heard, smelled, tasted, etc., felt. They're all stored. Those are the nouns. Those are the things that you have identity, that you can remember and you can go into. That's what so the library is like your conscious mind, okay? But inside the library is a back door, and the back door leads you to the subconscious field that you want to get to. And what happens is there's like that librarian, and let's say you're asking a question of what's hidden in this box, and you don't know. Because it's not in your library, it's not in your file cabinets, right? So where it is, it's out the door. So the librarian goes out the door and sees the universe, and then it says, okay, I'm going to retrieve that information, bring it back into the library, and it comes to the door, and it's like saying, I've got it, I've got it, I've got it. And then what happens is the conscious mind says, oh, I want to play this game. What is it in the box? So what does the conscious mind do? Because it's limited, it goes to the file cabinets and starts pulling out things that it's like. So imagine that what is in this box is an apple. And the librarian goes out the back door and pulls, the picture of the apple. But the conscious mind says, oh, I know what it is. It's a fire engine, because that's what it identifies. It's like, oh, I've seen a fire engine. But what the subconscious mind is trying to tell you is that, remember, it only talks in adjectives, that it's red, that it's shiny, that it has liquid in it, that it's reflective. Okay, do you see the difference between how the conscious mind works? The conscious mind wants to give it a noun. It wants to identify it because it only knows what's in the library. But the subconscious mind is just talking to you in adjectives. And that's how you know. This is a very, very important part of remote viewing, and when you get up here or when you're doing it on the paper, is to understand that you're going to have these things come at you, and it may not be the fire engine. So what we do in remote viewing is we ask this question: how is it like the fire engine? Okay? Because, and this is what I'm saying, is we never want to let anything go. We don't want to dismiss the fire engine. We want to say, okay, come here, fire engine, you know, let me know what you are trying to tell me about the fire engine so I can go back to remote viewing. Because basically what the conscious mind is, it's like a little child. And it's saying, I want to play, you know? So give me something to do. So we do. That's what we do. This is what the military discovered. They discovered this through, there was a guy named Ingo Swann, and he developed the remote viewing, basically, you know, how to do it and how to go about it. I mean, they developed it further with the military, but Ingo Swann is the man who brought it, this kind of method and technique to separate the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. So we're going to be doing that on paper. The way it's going to look is you're going to divide your paper . So your paper is going to be divided in half like this. You don't need to do it right now. I'm showing you what you're going to be doing when we do a session, because each session is separate, but I'm just showing you what we're going to do. So basically, the left side is your, subconscious. Now, people are probably saying, well, how is it that your left side is your subconscious? And why is it the right side, the conscious? Because even in Kabbalah, you know, the tree of life, there's receiving energy, and then there's giving energy. Why is it reversed? And in many spiritual practices, it's reversed. Well, what they discovered is that when much like the human eye, when it sees something, it literally is turning it upside down. So we can actually see things that way. The same thing happens with remote viewing, is that it's reversed. That they tried to do it the other way and it didn't work. That it's like the subconscious mind just didn't like it. It wanted to be on this side. Now, I'm making it very simply said. There's a lot more to that. When you are studying or reading about remote viewing, you learn that there's so much more to that. I'm giving you the Cliff Note version. So we write down all nouns all distractors and attractors. Okay, so the nouns we've already discussed what they are. The distractors are things that come up like, oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I don't feel like doing this. Oh my God, I'm so tired. I really want to go. This is making me have anxiety. Okay, those are the things that we want to write down on this side of the page. Why? Because then we can get to this side of the page. Once you give the dog a bone, it will leave you alone. Okay, that's what we want to know. We want to remember that, because if you don't let it be written down, you are not going to get to this side of the page, and you're gonna forever, I mean, literally when I first learned how to remote view, I could have written novels. I mean, I was on the right-hand side of the page forever. Like, I'm angry at my ex-husband. He didn't bring me coffee this morning. You know, I was like writing all these things down, but that's what's so great about this, because it's a form of releasing energy that is not serving you, okay? It's the monkey mind. It's the part of ourselves that whatever is going to show up in this session, in your sessions that you're going to do tonight, show up in your life. That's how you think, that you're going to see it, you know? And it's, I literally have seen like people cry when they've learned this stuff. Like there was this story, I remember I was in Colorado, and this guy paid like $1,000 for Lynn Buchanan's course, and we were there for 4 days, and for 4 days he was not able to like get past. He was always stuck, and we had to end his sessions, and he would be really angry and upset. So what I remember I kept saying, because I was working with him, I'd say, do you want to write that down? I kept saying, because I could, when you learn to remote view, you also become like a really good monitor of yourself. And you learn to monitor your micro movements. It's body language, basically. So, you know, and I learned with my ex-husband, we learned to be monitors, so we were able to watch each other's body movements. And we knew we were stuck or not letting go. So I was watching this. At the time I was in my 20s, and he was probably in his 50s. And I kept saying to him, do you want to write that down? Because I kept seeing his micro movements and his body language. And he wouldn't write it down. And then I said, do you want to pause the session? He says, fine. So he goes outside, and I went out with him, and I said, look, all I'm trying to do is, you know, get you to move past what you need to move past. And so we went back in, and we resumed the session, and there's other people like watching him do the session. And I said again to him, I started saying, do you want to write that down? So he finally wrote in capital letters, I cannot stand this 20-something-year-old girl telling me to fucking write it down. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to use that word, but he was so upset. But let me tell you what happened after that. After he released and let it go, and not let it go, but put it on the paper, he was able to remote view. He was holding on to that. He was not releasing that onto the paper. And this is why I'm saying the most important thing to do is to write it down. I'm going to say that to you guys over and over and over and over again. Writing it down is the key. It's like journaling. You're going to find relief and release all at the same time. Now, the third thing is called attractors. Attractors are basically previews of coming attractions. Like, oh, I think it's a snowball when it's really frosting. Or it's, oh, I see a fire engine when it's really an apple. So we need to write those all down on the right-hand side. Then, when we get that written down, all our nouns and all our distractors and all our attractors, we can now go to this side of the page. What we put on this side of the page are what we may sense with our five senses. Like, do we smell anything? Can you touch it? Can you hear it? Can you taste it? Can you, see it? What are you seeing? Now, sometimes it's not very clear. Sometimes we may see something and we're like going like this in the air with our hand, and I'll be like, can you put your hand to the paper? Because you're literally air drawing what it is. It's like, well, I see this thing, and I'm like, can you please do that circle motion on the paper? Now, you want to make sure that when you're writing things down, that everything kind of follows. So like if let's just say it's a fire truck. You write fire truck, and then you go over here and you write red, shiny. You know what I mean? Like you just keep writing it down. If suddenly you say water, I see water. So that's a noun, you would write water, and then you would write over here, you'd go wet. Before we go further, I want to tell you another story. So it's called the fishing net story. It's like, what's the difference between a remote viewer and a psychic? So remote viewers basically are trained to draw out the information. They're able to extract from what they're remotely seeing and then describe. It's more structured, it's more identifiable. And a psychic is more like going fishing. You tell them to go get the treasure chest, and then they throw the net down, and then what comes up? You got the seaweed, you got the other fish, there's a dolphin, an old boot, fish hooks, everything else comes up with it. And I'm not saying that the psychic isn't seeing everything, but remote viewing is more fixed on a certain one item thing, just the treasure chest. And you're able to retrieve that exactly through the process of, through the technique of remote viewing. So what we're going to do now is, so we're just going to randomly do what's in the box, okay? So as you all see, there's a box, and there's an item in it. And we're not going to write anything down at this time. I just want to show the difference between no structure and structure. So just randomly shout out things, what you think it is. And no one is wrong. We can do it now. Yeah, just... Immediately when you pointed to the box, got red ball. Red ball, okay. So we have red ball. Anybody else? Blue ball. Ball. Box. Cat. Blue ball. stuffed animal. And like the box is like almost like the back of a truck box. Like the back of a pickup truck, like the crate is what I saw. Okay, so she's starting. What is happening with Aurora right now? I don't even know what's in it. I forgot what I put in it. But what you're seeing happening right now is she's seeing more, like she's almost moving around the box, okay, and seeing in it. And that's kind of what we want to do. We want to like really, it's not like this, you know, putting your, you're not doing that, okay? It's not a meditation. It's like, it's almost like a bleep. Like you see it really fast and then you're like, wait, what was that? And it's usually the quieter thing and not the louder thing that you're gonna, that is seeing. Is there anything that you were seeing?
A blue and white teapot, something round and glossy,
Okay.
and maybe ceramic.
I'm listening to everybody else, and so I think I need to learn how to clear my mind and not let all of that influence me because, yeah.
But that, do you hear, this is great, okay? Because she's becoming conscientious of her thinking. And that's what we want to do. We want to become more conscientious of our thoughts because they're going to go off. We're going to be distracted by other people's, you know, what she said. Oh, that sounded good. You know, like maybe, I don't want to sound stupid, you know. That's a lot of things start. Are you hearing the chatter now in your mind? Okay, well, whatever you guys and gals are thinking, all that chatter, that is what needs to be written down on the right-hand side of the page. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open the box. And it is far from a blue ball or a red ball. But I want you to look, even though it's far from it, I want you all to look closely at the circle, okay? So everybody who said a like circular sphere, that is the shape. This is what happens. When we remote view, we are seeing remotely maybe a certain part of it. And who said reflective? Somebody said, yes. Or shiny. Yeah, okay, see how sparkly it is on one side? But that's what happens. Like remote viewing isn't like you put something in a box, you have somebody put it in a box and you guess what it is, and then you work on it for like 2 minutes, okay? A remote viewing session that you do with yourself or with a partner usually takes like, 30 minutes to an hour, depending like how far you want to go into it. Because everybody has monkey mind. Everybody has their conscious mind with distractors and attractors and nouns going on. And that's why you want to have lots of paper, because each session that you do is, a couple of pages of paper. It should be. So I now want to show you the protocol of, because then we're gonna have somebody come up. I'm probably gonna have Tim come up because he's done it before. Where's my pen? Okay. So you erase it with your palm. So Tim, oh wait, let me show you the protocols. Okay, so Just pretend this is your paper. So you divide it in half, and then you write up at the top your name. But just wait 1 minute before you guys start doing that. Name, date, time, and session number. You don't need to write session number, you just write the number down, okay? So if it's 0001, you write 0001 on it. And then you write, when you're ready, you write the word begin. Okay? The first thing that you do when we remote view is we basically touch the ideogram. Now, what is an ideogram? An ideogram is basically a swiggle. You know, it's like letting the hand just kind of go and off after you say the session number. Like you'll go 0001, and then you make an ideogram, okay? Then you go to the ideogram and you start touching it with your pen. Like maybe you're more connected to over here or something, or over here or over here, you know, and you just start tapping on it, and then you're going to ask yourself, is it man-made, organic, organic would be like even food, okay? Is it human or life, actually? Is it life or alive? And I forget what the other one is. Or is it like landscape? Land. I'm going to add water in there too. Okay, even though land and water can be organic, but I want to keep it separate because it could be a lake, or, you know what I mean, if you're remote viewing in a session where there's a photograph of a lake. So, but we're not doing that today, but so you're going to tap the ideogram and you're going to ask yourself, is it any of this? Is it both? Is it a mixture? Okay? And then you're going to go over to the, once you're going to do the ideogram over here, and then you're going to say whether it's, okay, maybe it's man-made. And then your session starts to begin. You start getting things. And a lot of times, usually when people begin, they start getting things that are nouns. So you just want to write your nouns. Nouns. You just want to keep on writing it down. Oh, I'm distracted. This is stupid. I'm guessing. Like I did terrible on that box exercise. I thought it was a red ball. You know what I mean? Like anything that comes up, you got to write it down and just get it out of your here so you can be over here. So we're going to have Tim come up now. Thank you, Tim. So I'm going to go put something in the box. And what I'm going to ask all of you to do is to participate on your paper. So you're going to write, you're going to do exactly what he's going to do. You're going to write your name, the date, the time. Yeah, you all can do that. It's the 8th, April 8th, and it's 7:17 p.m. And the number is 0001. That's the session number. Okay, so what Tim is going to do is he's going to start with his ideogram, and just like all of you are going to start with your ideogram. And you're going to say 0001, and then let the hand kind of do a swiggle over here on the subconscious. Okay, now tap on it. Is it like, are you feeling, is it man-made, organic? Okay, see how he's writing it down? He's writing that it's man-made. But go through your own sessions, you know, tapping on the ideogram, asking, what is it? What does that say? Furry hair. See how he's because Tim has done this before, he knows to write his adjectives down on the subconscious mind. And if you want to just watch and observe and not participate this round, because we're going to do several rounds, sometimes it helps to just observe the remote viewer. And then, as you could see, he's focusing on the box. But there's also, as I'm seeing his body language right now, he's got something in his mind, and that he needs to write it down. Now, a lot of times, like if you're up on stage and you don't want everybody to know your personal business, you can write it in code. You could say, you know, like, if something is really bothering you, you could draw like a little, you know, like let's just say it's your friend and they're bothering you, and you could just put their initials, and you know what that means when you write it down. But it's important to release that and let it down, let it go, you know, over on that side of the page. So whatever is on your mind, Tim, because you see how he's concentrating, and the pause that is going on in his mind, it's him overthinking, what could it be? You know, what's in the box? And then he sees toy, or fox, is that toy? And that's where, so he says it moves. You would put verbs on the left, yes. And adverbs. So how is it like a toy? What is that? Air draw, can you draw it? It moves like human mimics. So is there, you say it moves like human, not definitive, structure, fluid, brown, mixture with colors, furry hair. Is there anything, like, are you seeing an image? Or you're seeing this, you're seeing a person. Okay? So he's seeing a person. How is it like a person? And these are all questions that you would be asking yourself. How is it like? How is it like? That's, remember I said that's the most important question. It moves like human, mimics with parts. What is it? Parts, not solid. Okay. Okay. And this is when I bring out my little list, okay? These are the questions that you want to ask yourself. Colors, shapes, sizes, length, width, height, textures, smell, taste. And it's not like I'm asking a direct question, but it's questions that you can prompt yourself. These are prompting words that help you to move the session along, because what happens is every time you see Tim pause it's like he's stuck. And usually it's overthinking, trying to think what it is that he's focused on, because he's focused on something. You could see it in his body language. And the way to get past that is asking these prompt words or saying something like zoom in or zoom out. So if he sees a toy and it's not edible, then maybe zoom in from the toy or zoom out. Let's try zooming in. See the toy, it's like a toy. Zoom in on the toy. Now describe.
Moving parts.
Moving parts.
Multiple parts.
Multiple parts.
Meant to bring enjoyment.
Meant to bring enjoyment. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to end the session, just because we want to move. He's stuck, but right end on. What's that?
Well, enjoyment.
And then just write end. The reason why we write begin and end is very important, because you don't want to keep on replaying the remote viewing session when you get in your car, when you leave, when you go home. And one of the things that I did once was remote viewed for, it was called the Unassigned Witness Program. And they give you a target and they don't tell you what it is, but it's basically working for detectives. And I didn't properly get out of the session, and it kind of messed me up a little bit, but I got past it. But it's very important to end the session so we're not still running the movie, running our head in that session. So, okay, so we're going to pull out what Tim and so it was a glove. Okay, so now what I find is so fascinating is it does belong to a human. You know what I mean? A human wears it. It, you know, when I said, do you want to zoom in?
Yeah, I was thinking arms.
Right, okay, but that's why I was saying,
An extension of
right, and I said, do you want to draw that, okay? But the glove, it's kind of soft and furry, like, you know, it has, you could feel it.
texture.
Textures, yep. If you all want to see. Yep, human-like, see? Right. I mean, it could look like a stuffed animal because, you know, it's like it could be the hand of a stuffed animal or but that's what I was trying to get Tim to do, to focus more on the human, but it's like you also don't want to lead the remote viewer. You want them to figure it out themselves. You know what I mean? That's not our job as the monitor. Our job is to, you know, have them work through it.
Like I could say, I knew that it was like one solid color with mixed colors. So you got white, red, and gray. White, red, and gray that complement the base color of black. And then, I don't know, just different.
Wait, did you write that down? Brown mixed with colors. So, you know what? This to me is a good start, but how many minutes? We were like what? 11 minutes, thank you. 11 minutes into it, and you can see how it kind of works. Is everybody kind of getting an idea of how it works? Yeah, okay.
I did want to put like hands and feet.
And this is where I was saying he's thinking too much, and you've got to write it down. This is where I say write it down. Write everything down. Like if you're, I wanted to write, he says, hands and feet. Write hands and feet because that would have been right here. You know, hands, feet. Okay, those are the nouns. But then you would say, how is it like a hand? You would start with that one first. And then maybe it's like, I don't know, I'm seeing a hand. You know what I mean? Or, and that would have pushed them over to this side. So that's why I'm saying it's so important to write everything down, because you never know where it's going to lead you. This is where it's kind of like, you know, when people, you know, they say, oh, let's look at our shadow work and how important it is to you know, pull up a chair, sit with your shadow and talk to it. And that's because when we look at it, it's actually going to show us something deeper, something further that we need to learn. And that's exactly what remote viewing does. It's giving you a clue at what to look at. It's literally pointing out the thing that you need to focus on, so you can get over and release and use that side of your mind that has been dormant. You know, you're all psychic out there. Everybody, all of you watching online, I'm just telling you, you're all psychic. It's just that we are learning right now what is stopping us, and that is the conscious mind. It wants to identify, it wants to distract us, and it wants to give us previews of coming attractions. So, and that's always going to happen. Is just that we're learning tonight on how to recognize it and work with it. It's not something, you know, like I said, we don't want to let it go. And that's the same philosophy that healers and spiritual people say when they're working. They're saying, let's work with, I'm going to take you on a journey and I'm going to work with this, whatever that needs to come out. You know, you go to a fascial release practitioner, you know, they're rubbing out your hip or something and you've got trauma there, they say. You know, they don't just say, oh, just, you know, let it go. They don't say that. They'll say, we're going to work on this. We're going to get this out. And then all of a sudden you start crying and bawling because you were able to release it and let it go. And that's kind of like what we're learning tonight, how to work with ourselves, not just in a remote viewing session, because the way that we move through these sessions is exactly how we deal with life, our everyday life, how we go through our problems, how we talk to ourselves, how we push things down, whether we're suppressing it or not. And this is just a way of showing you how to work with it. Instead of spending like hundreds of dollars in therapy, this is like therapy right here. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just curious. I'd love to hear some examples of how you've used it in your personal life.
That people ask that all the time, and that's a very good question. So she wants to know how I use this in my everyday life. Like, is it practical? And it's very practical. So let's just, like I was telling, who was I saying? I said, Tim, you're in a event and you're trying to find a parking spot. And you're like, oh God, where do I park? And I'm getting so stressed out. If you just calm your mind and all of a sudden you're like, yellow, red, okay? Oh my God, I'm gonna be parking next to a yellow and red parking spot. Or how about, where are my keys? How many times have you lost your keys? And you're like, and what do we do when that happens? We sit there and we go through that whole process. Okay, well, I walked into the kitchen, I went over here, and then I went into the bedroom. Instead of doing that, if we could just say, what is it next to? Where are my keys next to? Oh, something white. I see white. Oh, what's white? Oh, those white pillows. Oh my God, there's my keys. By the white pillows, yes.
I remember one time I was with a couple kids and we were looking for the remote control. So we were looking for the remote control for the TV, and they were like every place that could logically be, and looking on the TV and on the counter and all this kind of stuff. And I said, just sit and let it tell us where it is. And we just sat there, and I got up and opened a toy box, stuck my hand in it. It was seconds. When I said, just listen, it'll tell you where it is. But it reminds me of this because it was just so clear, like, oh. And we had looked for it for a good 10, 15 minutes. But we just sat and listened.
That's exactly. It's like if you just put yourself on pause, okay? Because most of us, we're constantly on the mode of just, react, and go in that beta state, and we're not hitting the pause button. And think about this, okay? When are we most creative? When are we most creative? Does anybody know? When we're relaxed, okay? Name some places. Where are we relaxed? In bed, okay. Nature, shower, cleaning, right? What about driving? Yeah, all these things, okay? Basically, our body, our conscious mind is focused on a physical activity. Like when we're in the shower, we're in autopilot. Shampoo the hair, scrub the body, shave the legs, if you do. That's autopilot. And then we are allowing our subconscious mind to be free. And then information comes to us and we become creative. So this is what happens when we remote view. This is the reason why they came up with this structure. Divide the paper in half, put the conscious on one side, the subconscious on the other. Because we're giving the conscious mind a project. Remember, the conscious mind is connected to like that physical activity. So when we're doing something and keeping that part of our mind busy, we're able to retrieve information, become more creative, and and remote view. So what we're going to do is do another remote viewing session. Let's have another person come up. Is anybody, Mary?
I mean, I recommend just like whatever kind of comes first to your mind, just write it down. Like I really, it just, I had a feeling it was like something that a cat or a dog would play with, or like a baby, but I didn't write it down.
Oh.
Kind of, well, you doubt
isn't the-
yourself. So if you don't doubt it, it just comes to your mind and just write it down. Who cares? Who cares if like you feel like you're totally off and you're shamed by your peers? Who cares if you're gonna embarrass yourself? You gotta get over that. Just whatever comes.
Okay.
Movement.
And then go ahead and write your name, the date. It's the 8th. It's 4. So it's 002. Yep. So if everybody wants to participate now, get your paper out because you're also going to be remote viewing what is in the box. And the number is 0002. You can start doing your ideogram. And if Mary can just cut, what's that?
I forgot about the natural, organic, what were the?
Is it man-made, organic? I should probably write it right here. Man-made, organic, alive, land, water. So Mary has throat, cough, suppress. Okay, dark, man-made, but where's your ideogram? Oh, there's your ideogram. Is that your ideogram? Okay, yeah, do it over here, yeah. And then tap it. Does it feel man-made, organic, alive, land, water? And if you can just say out loud what you're writing down so others. Oh, okay. Gash, wet. Okay, so now she's going into the remote viewing part because it's basically, she hasn't really said whether it's man-made or. And then, oh, you did write that, okay. And then how is it like a stick? And then you describe. Stiff, crooked, jagged. And now she's starting to draw. Okay, this is good. Okay, so there's different phases in remote viewing. There's phase 1, which is words. Phase 2 is drawings. So if it's speckled, so you're saying it has, it's an adjective, yeah. And then she's very focused on, and you can see with her hands, okay? She's very, very focused on the specks and the gashes, because she's mentioned it like 3 times. And she did that here, and she's doing it here. The dots, she's doing a drawing. So when a monitor sees a remote viewer go into something like this is when we say, you know, how is it like specks? Maybe you want to zoom out from the specks. So we ask the remote viewer to zoom out. And then textured, and maybe she's seeing a drawing. Do you want to draw that? Do you want to try to draw what you're seeing? Okay, it's so weird. She needs to write that down on the other side. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's that inner chatter that's telling it's so weird, you know, that we have to acknowledge every little thing. If are you seeing a smile, or you? So can you draw that instead? Can you draw the smile? More than that. Okay, well, she drew it. Okay. But you could write seeing a smile. Yeah, on the conscious side. So how is it like a smile? See, every word that comes up, you want to write, how is it like that noun? What does this one say?
Right, curved.
Oh, curved. Can you draw it?
Well, I get more of that, though. I get more.
And then you write sunshine on the other side, and then you ask yourself, how is it like sunshine?
And bright, I keep getting bright.
It's a sphere. Okay, so we're going to call the session, right end. Thank you, Mary. Now, wait until you see well, what's really funny is it looks like a little face, you know, that they're like little faces. Like each one looks like a little face. Can everybody see this at home? Which I love, okay? Do you see how close?
I didn't get round, but I see the smile.
Right. Stiff, it's hard, you know, it's plastic. The edges are kind of crooked right here. But it's like the face and the sunshine. The specks, she kept seeing the holes. So, and she kept doing this over and over again, like very fixated on that. What we're seeing tonight, we're seeing everybody. We saw Tim, we saw Mary. Yeah, and it's man-made. We're seeing people step into that space of remote viewing. Now you can imagine if they were at home and they took the session longer, you know, because, and really work through asking those questions. And this is why I'm saying it's so important, once you learn how to remote view, is to practice And at first, like I say, okay, start out getting, and I'll show you. So basically, we have an envelope, and we will write the number, 0001 on it. And the targets look like this. They'll have, hang on one second here. Okay, so what I do is I cut things out of a magazine and I glue it to a piece of paper. And then I stick them, I do a whole bunch of them. And then I mix them all up, and I don't remember because I've been cutting things out for a very long time. Stick one in an envelope, and then I practice. And I know we're all anxious to see what is hidden, what is, in the envelope. But the longer you can go through the session and really, download your conscious mind of the distractors, of the attractors and the nouns, and keep on asking yourself, how is it like? How is it like? Okay, zoom out, ask your questions. If you feel like you're stuck, just remember to ask those questions so you can get unstuck and continue the session. And a lot of times what you'll see is, how much has been really bothering you or on your mind, or how your mood, for the day. And if anything, even if you didn't guess the target, at least you got some therapy and journaling done, in the remote viewing session, which is the most important thing and the whole reason why I teach this. This is the very reason I developed Mind Mastering Method, because I want to help people to download all that is on their mind and all that is bothering them so they can get on with their life and they could be manifestors and productive and, do things with their lives and be happy. A lot of us are just so stuck in our energy, and we need to know how to work with it or do something with it. And this is definitely something that helps. So we're going to do another session. Do we have a volunteer, Aura? No? Max?
Can I ask a question?
Yes. Uh-huh.
For that last meeting for both of them, I felt like just totally blocked, and I was like, you're trying too hard. And I was writing it down, like blocked, trying too hard. I was yawning. Could you just be too tired? Could you mentally just be
Yeah.
too tired to separate?
Yes. Okay, that is something that comes up where we are just mentally too tired. But the whole thing is why are we mentally too tired? Because mental tired is different than physical tired. If you're mentally tired and that's stopping you from remote viewing, the actual releasing of that mental block, all that is in your mind, once we release that, you're going to be like, whoa, I got energy now. I'm good. Like the flow starts to go. And that's where you want to be. Because think about it, we're like that every day of our lives. People are just exhausted when they shouldn't be exhausted. But it's like we're taking on too much in our heads, the monkey mind. We're worrying about the world. We're worrying about our families. We're worrying about our, finances or ourselves in so many different ways that having an avenue to be able to release that is so important. And that's why I'm saying, if you didn't even do the session, at least write down everything that is going on because clearly there must be a lot, because that's the thing that's blocking us. is all that mental, you know, ness that's being stacked up, and we're just compiling on top and on top, and you know, but I wanted to remote view, but in order to do it, is you've got to release it somewhere. You've got to release that. So, do you want to come up and maybe do it? Because that way, you know, it sometimes helps being the person that comes up on the stage, because then it's like, okay, this is me, and it's my turn to. Yeah. Thanks. Okay, so I'm going to put another something in the box. Tim, don't look. Does anybody have any other questions? No? Okay. Is everybody having fun? Is it interesting? Yeah? Okay. Okay, so this is 0003. So write your name, the date, the time is, Tim, what's the time?
7:53.
7:53. No, you don't need to write the place, yeah. Yeah, write begin, and then, no, well, you can look, there's nothing to look at, it's a box. Okay, so then 0003, and we begin, and then do the ideogram, and tap it. And then we can start asking ourselves, is it man-made? Is it organic? Is it alive? Is it land? Is it water? Well, let's just say you're doing a picture of like this, and it has a picture of humans, you know, at the Great Wall of China or something. So you would say, oh, it's alive, I feel like it's organic, and I also feel like there's something man-made there. So it could be like several things. Like this is man-made, like you're seeing a picture of a boat, a ship, and yet it's on water. So you would say water and man-made.
So the only reason I'm saying that is because as I was doing this, I guess I got stuck there. And is that where you should? Oh, so that's what it is. So as it starts, is it man-made? Is it organic? And I was just going, and where I noticed myself stopping was when I would say organic.
That's fine. Yeah, you're noticing. Okay,
Body's responding
you're
to
right.
what my thoughts are.
Her question was when she's doing her ideogram and she's tapping it, but then she stopped at a certain part, it started to feel organic, and that's why she wrote organic down, and then she said alive. But she also needs to write down that she was confused, and she doesn't need to write the whole thing that she explained. She could just say she was confused. Now, what does it say right here? Wavy?
Wavy.
Okay, so wavy would be over here because wavy is an adjective.
So at one point when I was doing this, I actually felt like it was trying to show me like going back and forth like this.
Okay, so you could write,
So that's why I wrote
It-
wavy.
so so is there movement?
Yes.
Okay, so then maybe write moves. And it goes back and forth. You want to write that down.
And it also felt heavy.
Okay, so
Felt natural, like heavy.
well, heavy goes on is a adjective. And these are okay. So wavy, heavy. Yeah, take them off. And then, how did that just make you feel? Because I saw your body language, and so there's something going on in you.
I'm confused isn't a noun, and neither is unsure. So I'm like, so these aren't.
Well, confused is your distractor,
Right.
okay? And unsure is your distractor as well. She did, yeah, she wrote those down. How's everybody else doing? Anybody want to share what they're getting? Broom.
Yeah, kite.
Okay, so how is it like a broom? How is it like a kite? Jill? Yellow, sparkly, curvy.
Droopy, droopy, gravity, sinking, heavy, heartbreak. I don't know if heartbreak can be a adjective.
Wait, say those. Say your list.
Trippy, droopy, gravity falls, sinking, heavy, weight, heartbreak.
Okay. So how is it like a heartbreak?
Something that's just like heavy and it was like
So it felt puzzling. Okay. So you should write that down. What did you get?
I'm just writing down all my distractors.
Okay. That's good. You know what? This is good. I love when there are people just writing down their distractors, because they realize, you're realizing like in this moment that, okay, in order for me or whoever is going through what they're going through, they have to acknowledge, they are willing to acknowledge, and they're very conscientious of how they're feeling. And that's where we really want to be. We really want to be very conscientious, because the more that we practice being conscientious in a remote viewing session, it makes us very conscientious humans out there in the world, being more sensitive to others, being you know, it allows us to be more patient with others. Max, what did you get?
The descriptors?
Descriptors, yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Feel, coarse, metallic, 2 inches, bob, sphere, red, white, plastic, smooth, roll, communicate, wit, and tap.
Nice. Okay. Tim, what did you get?
It's basically like a horn, a bell for a bicycle. It's shaped. It's a simple color, but soft on one end and angled on the other. Meant to distract you, might get your attention. Soft on one, hard on the other. Odd shaped, and it makes noise.
Okay. So let's come back over here, and pressure on my chest. Okay, that would be over here.
Anxiety over here.
Okay, anxiety. So
But
The-
it was like I felt it physically more, and then I was like, oh, that's anxiety. But a bit more, it felt like a weight. So it felt like a physical.
okay, and you drew something here,
Because then I started to think, oh, the back and forth, it was kind of like the
like a
figure-
oh,
the
pen,
musical.
the pendulum thing,
But it's the musical thing.
right?
I don't know what the thing is called,
What is that thing called?
the subdometer.
like above a piano or whatever the musician.
Metronome.
That's it. Yes.
That metronome. And that went back to the back and forth. Like, yeah, it's something going back and forth. And then I thought pendulum. So something like that.
Okay. We're going to stop the session now. So end. And we're going to pull out what it was so you can, because I don't, anytime somebody says I'm having anxiety, I'm like, I don't want to give her more anxiety. So,
It doesn't feel like my anxiety.
no, okay, it might be,
It felt like pressure.
okay, so it's a jewelry box. Okay, it's hard on the outside, and on the inside there is fluffy cotton. Soft, okay? But do you see how we get super focused on one detail? Yes? Even if it's like a small little part. Who said something about like textures or... Yeah, okay, wow. Okay, see, Max said metallic. Look at that, shiny metallic. See how we get glimpses of it? But now, at this point, you might be asking, well, do we ever really describe the target? Okay, so I'm gonna show you something that has happened to me many times. So let me just erase this. Okay. Oh, who has the pen? Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, so I had a session. This was like my very first session. So I said, okay, I see a green field. And I drew the green field. I said, it's right there. And, oh, I see those poppy things. They're right there. They're all right there. Okay, I drew even a line. I said all the poppies are in the field. And I was identifying everything, and I had to write down poppies, green field. I said this is all green. It's grass. I said the different color poppies. I drew that arrow. I said, oh, now I see there's this road, and it goes all the way around the field of poppies. And there's like these it's black road, and there's like these flower pots over here. And I drew that. And my ex-husband says, you're done. You drew the target. And I'm like, what? I said, oh, so it's a green field with poppies and giant flower pots. He says, he pulled out the piece of paper. It was a pool table, green, with a pool stick sitting right there. And I drew the line. I drew the line to point to the poppies. I drew 9 poppy balls, okay, poppy flowers. But what I'm trying to show you here is how you feel like the village idiot going through the session. You feel like, what is this? Like, I don't know what this is. But if you can just remember to try not to identify. I'm not going to identify. Keep on saying, I'm not going to identify this. I'm just going to describe. Just really get into the describing of what you are seeing. you're going to be more about forget feeling stupid about it. Forget that it really is, you know, they're not flower pots and it's not a poppy field. You know, if you keep that in mind that it's not that and just say, I'm just going to describe what it's like, you're going to stay on target and you're going to have very successful remote viewing sessions. So let's get one other person to come up. Max, you want to give it a try? You're good? Okay. What's your name again? Devaney, would you like to come up? Okay. Yeah, put that around your shoulders there. There you go. And I'm going to put something in the box. Now everybody can get out another clean sheet of paper. And we're all going to do this together. This time, we're going to take a, kind of just be a little bit quiet through this. Maybe John can stick on a little bit of meditation music just to go through this last session. And this would be 003, and the date is the 8th, and the time is, oh, it's 4, session 4, right. Tim, what time is it? It's 8:09. And those of you who are at home, who are doing this, you know, just really try to feel into what is in the box and describe how is it like. Start with your ideogram, tap it. Is it man-made? Is it organic? Is it alive? Is it land? Is it water? And I'm going to say these words. They're not a question, they're just prompt words. Colors, length, textures, shapes, width, smell, size, height, taste, width, smell, length, colors, height, size, taste, textures, shapes. Remember to write your distractors on the right-hand side of the page. Any coming attractors, write those down. You can always re-tap the ideogram if you need to. If you see anything, a visual in your head, try writing that down, try drawing that. Even if you can't put your pen to the paper, maybe you're seeing something in your mind's eye and you're air drawing it. Try to grab onto it. If me talking is annoying you, you can write that down too. Because I can be a distractor. And I know a lot of you right now are in the space of where it's maybe writing down a lot of words, but we do want to get to the point where we're actually drawing, taking the littlest thing that we see, the littlest thing, even if it's like a circle or or a square or a triangle, like what shape is it? You know, writing, drawing the shape, drawing the you know, where the color is. Is it to the left or is it to the right? Is it on the bottom? Is it up above? And all drawings do go on the subconscious side. Try to reach out and touch it. What does it feel like? Can you hold it in your hand, or is it too big? Can you zoom in on it? Can you see the little details, if there are any? Or zoom out, step back from it, and what do you see? And if you feel like you've done enough, you can always end the session. Just write end if you want. How many of you have ended your session? Have you ended? Okay. Jill, are you still going? You're done? Okay. Are you done? Okay. We are now going to take out what it is. It's a comb. Made out of plastic, man-made. Now, I want you all to look up here. Look where she was going with this. At first, she drew the lines, but then maybe she got super focused on, is there any hair in it? I don't know. No, there's not. But she was going somewhere with it. Okay? Let's see. You want to come up and... Right. Yeah, no, that's interesting that snake noodles, how is it like spaghetti, snake, noodle, what does this say? Road, views of knees, trees and scenery movie DNA strands, but you were seeing like strands. You know what I mean? See how like one word can be just what it's about? And I want to hear what everybody else got. Mary.
Man-made, hard, stiff, and then I drew bars like this, black bars. Squarish. I did say red, black, short, about 2 inches, small, thin, stands up stiff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Man-made, thick, fluffy, furry, brown, aged, and used.
Used. It's definitely used.
Long, smooth, tall, silver spoon.
Okay. Okay. Oh, you did. You're up there.
I was still writing my detractors.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right, I put man-made brown teal, 3-inch wide, smooth, up, limp end, metal, leather, lace, purple, and touch.
Oh. Okay. Oh, okay. She just got man-made. Tim, what did you get?
I got 3-inch by 1-inch, no smell, angled, no taste. I got black, metallic, non-organic, flat, no texture, and it can be injurious. It's an appliance, it's a tool, fits awkwardly. It's meant to pick up stuff. It's not really playful.
That was really good. I want you all to give yourselves a hand because, you know, it is hard stuff to like, you know, really let go of that part of your mind and put it onto paper. You know what I mean? Because it's personal. And, but we want to get personal with ourselves. That's the whole idea. That's what's stopping us from seeing what we are all born and gifted to be able to see. So I want to thank you all, first of all, for coming and being brave students, you know, in today's class. I am also doing on the 22nd, it is a workshop. It's going to be much different. We are going to be moving around. It's a lot more movement. It's not going to be live streamed. It's more of a movement in order to get our bodies used to understanding how to use that part of ourselves to get in touch. We're going to be touching things that we're not going to see. We're going to be listening to, you know, things that maybe we haven't heard. And what is that feeling? We're going to, you know, work with, it's a whole workshop. So it's 2 hours, and I hope you'll all come back for that. It's Wednesday, April 22nd, and it's from 6:30 to 8:30. And it's a very hands-on. We are going to do a little bit more of this, but we're also going to touch things that are maybe antiques or things that I want you to get feelings of. So we're going to get in touch with that part of our intuition, part of ourselves. Like, you know, so if you're ever, you know, around a garage sale or, you know, because that's really good to practice intuition, you know, pick up an object and kind of feel what it is. What does it feel like? Whose was it? You know, what's the history behind it? Make a mental note and then go over to the owner and say, hey, tell me about this, you know, this toy or this thing that I'm holding. You know, whose was it? What does it mean? What's the history behind it? And that really helps to tone in our remote viewing skills. So I hope you all at home enjoyed it, and thank you very much. And this concludes our evening. Thank you.